Hello everyone and welcome to AHS Countdown. I'm your host Reese Kinder, joined by my co-host James Tippins. James, how are we doing tonight?
Doing great, Reese. Excited for the senior night matchup between Auburn and Carver.
Yeah, Auburn coming in this matchup, winning last week 38-0 against the Smith Station Panthers, and then Carver losing to the Central Red Devils 58-35. And the Tigers are looking to get back-to-back wins this week against the Wolverines. But let's get right into last week's matchup for the Tigers. Auburn coming off the win, like I mentioned, at Smith Station. The Tigers' defense looked good throughout this game. And the offense got going in the second half, but the first half was kind of sluggish. Feel like a little bit of leftover, problems from that Central game, but Auburn was able to get things done and win against the Panthers. But we're going to move now to our game breakdown. We're going to start with our strengths for tonight. And James, what are your strengths for Auburn and Carver?
Yeah, for Auburn, it's definitely pressuring the quarterback. This defensive line has been there all year. From Carnell Jackson to Colin King, Micah Bowerstock, and Cam Creighton. And those linebackers behind him, pressuring this quarterback, Zion Crumpton, who's a really dynamic kind of guy. He's a playmaker, can sit in the pocket and make his throws, and also can get outside the pocket and run a little bit. He's really athletic. So pressuring the quarterback is definitely one of our strengths for tonight.
Yeah, I like that right there, James. I really feel like tonight, if you're able to pressure the quarterback, I feel like this Tigers defense has been able to do that a lot this season. Bobby Coleman had the struggles last home game, but still was able to find his receivers, and if they can do that tonight, I feel like Auburn could get a big win on senior night against Carver. But we're going to talk about the weaknesses now for this game. And I'm going to start with Auburn. Auburn is the passing game for Auburn. If Auburn's passing game is not going, that's where they lose momentum. And I feel like, honestly, this Tigers team has struggled against those big teams like Vestavia Hills and Central this season, and even Opelika passing-wise. And I feel like if Auburn's not able to do that tonight, Carver will come in to Duck Sanford Stadium and get a big win. But for now, I feel like Auburn possibly has things going in the passing game if they can start off early. And then for Carver, it's the defense. Like I mentioned earlier, 58-35 against the Central Red Devils. And this Carver defense has not looked good at all this season. If Auburn can get in a shootout, Auburn should be able to win this one. But so far, both teams look like it could be a high-scoring matchup, but I'm really interested to see how this one goes. But now we're going to move into key players to look out for tonight's matchup. And James, what key player are you looking out for tonight?
Yeah, tonight it's Alex Gampson, the senior linebacker. He had 8 tackles last game against Smith Station, including the only sack for the Auburn defense. But Alex Gampson's just a leader of this defense. He's everywhere. I feel like he's really athletic. He's really good rushing the quarterback and, laying back, reading the eyes of the quarterback and making plays in zone reads. So Alex Gampson's my key player tonight for the Auburn Tigers. Yeah,
and, Coach Ferguson, that linebacker crew, really good linebacker group we have this year. Sadly, Greg Williams still is out for this game due to that injury, but hopefully we can have him back by playoffs. But I really think this Auburn team has a lot going for them with these guys stepping up, like Will Lee and Alex Gampson stepping up in those places to get things done. Now we're going to move to a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we'll have the player spotlight with James Tippins.
Play hard, play to win. But when sports injuries occur, you can rely on Encore. Our professional team treats all types of sports-related injuries for athletes of all ages. Our licensed therapists work closely with the patient, your family, and physician to get you back into action quickly and safely. At Encore, we love to see you move. Log on to EncoreRehab.com for a location near you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to AHS Countdown. We're going to get right into it now with our player spotlight. And, James, what player stands out to you the most?
Yeah, Cortez Cooks, last game had an interception. He's a junior, so he's really kind of a young kid on this DB squad with B.J. McGee. Him and B.J. McGee are kind of just like those 2 lockdown corners we have. Cortez Cooks stepping up a big way with an interception, carrying that into this week. But, yeah, Cortez Cooks, player spotlight.
Yeah, I really feel like you hit it right on the head there. And, honestly, Cortez Cooks, really good defender. B.J. McGee, like you mentioned as well, both great corners on this Auburn defense, and if they're on their game tonight, I think this Auburn team can get a big win against Carver. But now we're going to move to our region standings, and we're going to start off now. Currently leading the region right now is Central. Central at 1. They're undefeated in the region. They're only lost at the IMG Academy, which is a non-region game, so that does not hurt them. And then Auburn moves up to the 2 spot after Carver dropped to Central last week. So Auburn currently ahead of Carver. If they win, they stay ahead of Carver. And then in the 4 spot is the Opelika Bulldogs. The Bulldogs have 2 region losses after dropping one to Enterprise on Friday. And you actually picked that game. You picked the upset, James. And then in the 5th spot, you have the Dothan Wolves. They're down there. They're still trying to fight for that playoff spot, so very interested to see if they can keep that going. And then Enterprise passes Smith Station, getting their second region win, so the Wildcats get back into 6th place, and then Smith Station falls 1 spot to 7th place, and then obviously Jag in last place. So far the region's shaping up pretty well as the playoffs are getting closer and closer. We only have 2 more weeks, maybe 3 more weeks, till this playoffs is here, and a lot of teams trying to fight for those seeds, and obviously Trip Upton, our other member of the crew, will have that on tonight's show. He'll have that with all the updates about region standings and playoff implications, so we'll definitely be interested to see. But we're going to move to a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we will have our game picks with me and James.
When I was getting ready to retire, I had to have somewhere to look for some health insurance. So I ran into an old classmate of mine at Hardee's one morning, and he happened to be driving for Auburn City Schools. So we got to talking. He was telling me about the benefits, and it's a great opportunity because we leave here a couple of hours every morning, a couple of hours in the afternoon. We got from probably 8:30 to 2:30. Go play golf, work in the yard, do whatever you want to do. You're not going to work on the weekends. You're not going to work on holidays. You got all summer. So that's great.
Okay, if somebody's considering driving a school bus, I would say do it. There are so many opportunities for different people, different walks of life, different roles, no matter what situation you're in for being a bus driver. There are spaces for those who own their own business and can make their own hours. This is a fantastic opportunity for that. For those stay-at-home moms or stay-at-home dads that don't necessarily want to be gone from the house all day but can do a morning and an afternoon shift, that is fantastic schedule.
But I know they're paying on Mr. Lewis to take them to school. So I try to get there on time, every day, and show up every day. And that's what I've been doing for the last 20 years. I love kids. I love people. I like tiny people.
Best part be the school bus driver. Again, you help these kids get education. You help these kids go to the school, and you help these kids go back to home. This is, in my opinion, the best part.
My favorite things are the handwritten notes, hands down. Even if the parents are making them do it, they usually think about, what you mean to them and what impact that you've made on them.
We need bus drivers. We love to have bus drivers. We need drivers every day.
It's all about the kids. They're the ones that's special, honestly. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm still here. And they can't get rid of me, But I'm not letting those 70 kids that are counting on me to get to school, I'm not letting them down.
Hello everyone and welcome back to AHS Countdown. We're going to get right into our game picks now, and obviously we're going to start with the standings first. Standing in first place is James, obviously 26-5, and then I'm 20-5, and then Cherish is 13-5. James, you went undefeated last week. That's the second time someone has went undefeated so far this season. Cherish in week 1 was undefeated. But we're going to get it started now with our first game up. It is the 1-6 Jaguars versus the 3-4 Enterprise Wildcats. Enterprise coming off of a big win against the Bulldogs last week of Opelika, and then the Jaguars losing to the Dothan Wolves in Dothan last week. Who do you have between Jag and Enterprise?
Yeah, Reese, as you mentioned, 2 really struggling teams. Enterprise coming off that big win, have the high hopes coming into this game. But I've got Jag upset of the century here.
You're taking a bold prediction there, James. This Jag team struggled offensively and also struggled defensively this season. But the Wildcats last week looked really good, outscoring Opelika, I believe 42-20. I don't know the exact score of that matchup, but this Enterprise team had a great game last week against the Bulldogs, and I think they're going to continue that momentum. And they're obviously eliminated from playoff contention, but still trying to improve that record a little bit. But I feel like the Wildcats are going to be able to get a big win against the Jaguars here tonight. But our next game up is 2-6 Smith Station. Auburn faced them last week. And then Dothan, who's 4-3. Who do you have between Dothan and Smith Station?
Yeah, Smith Station kind of just sputtering towards the end of the season. They can't really get anything going. Got shut out last week. And then now they have to go against this really dynamic Dothan offense running the triple option. I've got the Wolves in this one.
I'm gonna say Dothan in this one, but I will say it's gonna be close due to the fact that, you know, Dothan, it seems like, gives up a lot of points defensively. So I really feel like this Smith Station team, they also run the triple option. They're going to be able to score some points. They might put up 20 or 30 on Dothan if Dothan's not ready defensively. But I do have the Wolves winning this one, but I think it's close. But our next game up is 7-1 Daphne versus 6-2 Fairhope. This is at Fairhope. James, who you have between Daphne and Fairhope?
Yeah, Daphne's just too big up front. They're going to 8-1. I got Daphne in this one.
I'm going to have to agree with you here. Daphne, just a really well-rounded team. I feel like this Daphne team has improved as the season just continues to move on. And Daphne trying to get a good playoff spot. And this Daphne team will improve to 8-1 tonight against Fairhope. And, yeah, it should be a good game. But our next game up is 6-2 Thompson versus 5-3 Hoover. Hoover, we've been talking about them for a few weeks. They've started to get better as the weeks progresses. Is at Hoover. But James, who do you have between Thompson and Hoover?
Yeah, as you said, Hoover just gaining that momentum. Rough start to the season. I don't think they get this one. I think Thompson wins by a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I can't go against the Warriors. Trent Seaborn, one of the best high school quarterbacks in the state of Alabama, has a bunch of D1 offers, and this Thompson team is ready. They're putting all those losses that they had early in the season behind them, and this Thompson team is ready to get a big win against the Buccaneers, and I think they'll be able to do it on Friday night. And our next game up is the 7-1 Central Red Devils versus the 6-2 Opelika Bulldogs. This is at Central. James, who do you have between Central and Opelika?
Yeah, I don't think this one's going to be close. Give me the Red Devils.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you here. The Red Devils, you know, we underlooked that defense. The offense is just already there. The Central team scores a lot of points, and the Bulldogs struggled last week against Enterprise. And I really feel like this Central team will be able to get the job done against Opelika here tonight. And then our last matchup up is obviously the Auburn versus Carver game. Auburn 6-2 on the season, and Carver 5-2. Big playoff implications tonight for this game. James, who do you have between Auburn and Carver?
Yeah, Reese, just a marquee matchup between these two programs. I really think it's going to come down to the defense. I think it's going to be a really defensive battle game, low scoring. It might come down to a field goal or a turnover, but I'm going to go with Auburn in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Tigers in this one, but like you said, don't be surprised, folks, if this game is close due to the fact that Carver does score a lot of points and Carver does give up a lot of points. So if this Auburn offense is going and this Carver offense is going, this could be a shootout, maybe like one of those Big 12 matchups we see between Baylor and Kansas State or something like that back in 2015. But yeah, I feel like this Auburn team is going to be able to get the job done and improve to 7-2 on the season and continue hopefully getting maybe the number 2 seed in the playoffs coming up. But now we're going to move away from our game picks, and we're going to move into our keys to the game. And James, what is your key to the game for Auburn tonight?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to see Auburn stop this run game. You know, Zion Crumpton back there, he's really elusive and can get out of the pocket and scramble for a ton of yards. And then Elijah Tarver back there, their workhorse running back for this team. Carver really uses that ground game to their advantage, rushes for a ton of yards every game. If Auburn's defense can play like they have all season and stop this run game, it'll set them up for success and a hopeful win.
Yeah, I really feel like Auburn's defense has been good at stopping the run this season. Big Carnell Jackson and Colin King up front. And if they're able to get some big tackles for loss and also just get those stops like you mentioned, this Auburn team's going to be able to get a big win tonight against the Wolverines. But my key to the game for Carver is you got to force those turnovers. I mean, if you're Carver, you got to look at it this way. Auburn's offense has been high-powered for most of the season. They've only had 2 bad games, I feel like. And if Kason Myers can get things going to Joshua Askew and Antonio Welch and that receiving core, I feel like the Tigers are going to be able to get it done. But if Carver's defense is able to force some turnovers and get the ball in great field position for that offense, I feel like this Carver team's got it going for them. But that is going to do it for AHS Countdown. We hope you guys enjoy this matchup between the Auburn Tigers and the Carver Wolverines. We will see you guys at the kick.